Hello, good morning. Chat a little bit about how to show up when you don't feel like it. And this is actually a strategy, not just a chit chat. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how you can work towards not just relying on how you feel, but executing a plan. So by the end of this video, you should feel a lot more clear on how you can break out of that I'm not motivated loop and have something that feels more plausible for I'm going to relate this to fitness, but you can use these for anything. So, most common question that I get and that I see just floating around the internet is how to stay motivated and show up when you just don't feel like going. I am no stranger to the fact that fitness is not everybody's favorite thing. Like, it's my favorite thing. I love fitness. I love working out. I think the human body is very interesting, but I also know that not a lot of people's favorite thing. So, how do you show up like it is your favorite thing? Stay consistent. One, you need to have a plan. The reason I say that, and even if it's just a slight structure, and the rest of this video will explain why, but if you're always going off of how you feel, you're always going to lean on that. But if you have a plan, you're going to know what to do, even if you don't feel like it. So when you don't feel like it and you don't have a plan, there's nothing, no options really. You don't have to think about options if you don't want to, and you can choose to not execute anything because you don't have a plan. So you're not falling off the plan if you don't have a plan. You know what I'm saying? And so, first step is to get a plan so that you don't always rely on how you feel because feelings are valid, but sometimes the actions that are released from those feelings or lack of action, that doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean, will, I don't even know what I was saying right there. But, if you're always relying on how you're feeling, your feelings are valid, but the actions that are the fruits of those feelings aren't always okay. And the reason I say that is because it may not align with the person that you want to be. A good question to ask yourself is if someone looked at me live, say, a week in my life, would they believe my priorities if I told them what my goals were? And if no, that's a good way to self audit and ask yourself, what do I need to do or change to just be 1% better? We don't have to be a 180 by tomorrow, you know what I mean? You just gotta start somewhere. And you start and then you make it pretty later. So you just gotta, if you don't try things, it's kind of like trying a routine and failing it. It's like research and development. You gotta figure out what works for you, what you like, what you don't like. If that means you have to get some classes to facilitate that, maybe get a personal trainer, link is in my bio, then do that if you feel like that's a better first step for you, or even using one of the free sessions at the gym if it's the whole ordeal is a little bit too much, right? And so, what does that plan need to be? If you already have a plan, awesome. But this is for those who don't for the next couple minutes. So, if you don't have a plan, you need to find a plan. Let's use an example. Maybe my plan is I would love to go to the gym 3 times a week for at least 60 minutes. Cool. That's my plan, and my days are Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so, if I can't make it to Monday, yes, you could go to Tuesday, but try to stick to that plan as closely as possible because it helps things flow a little bit better. There's going to be days where you need to shimmy around or just move your week a little bit. Maybe you're traveling on the weekend, so you got to move Friday to Tuesday, along those lines. That's okay, but you need to have at least a general structure to follow during the week. And once you have that optimal or most ideal goal for the week, the 3 times a week at 60 minutes, perfect. Now, what happens if you can't get that 60-minute workout on Monday, Tuesday, or Monday, Wednesday, or Friday? What should I do next? So you should make backup plans for your biggest barriers. So maybe my biggest barriers are number one, mental motivation, just getting myself to show up. Maybe two, being able to get to the gym space. And then three, something else, which can be anything that's a little more extreme than that. And so, what is my plan B? So, if that mindset is just a thing, if the 60 minutes feels like too much, my plan B is going to say, I'm just going to commit to 30 minutes of getting into the gym, whether that be 30 minutes of walking, a half version of the regular workout that I do, or just what I feel like doing. Just get yourself there, first and foremost. A lot of the times, if you get yourself there, it feels a lot better to finish what you're doing. But if not, at least you got the 30 minutes in. And again, it's a mind game. So showing up more often will help you build the habit more, even if it's the 5-minute version. Read the book Atomic Habits if you don't believe me. But what happens if that 30-minute half gym workout is not going to work? What if I can't get to the gym? Maybe I got a flat tire. That's out of my control, obviously. So what is in my control? I can do a 15 to 20 minute YouTube video. Maybe time isn't the barrier, but it's just getting to the gym. I can still do 30 to 45 minutes at home, follow along with something, maybe spice it up a little bit. Maybe I throw in a little Pilates. Maybe I get my stretch on with some yoga. I don't know. Just do something else. A step down from that plan B. And then what if that doesn't work? What if I'm having an SOS day? I just started my period. I want to eat everything in the fridge. I'm really tired and I don't want to get out of bed. Next best option, if you go on YouTube and you search 10-minute bed stretches, you will find stretches that you can literally do on your bed or on the floor. You don't have to move around that much. That is great. The reason I say that, and you might think it's silly, and you might get into that black and white mindset of, well, that's so silly, that's not even close to getting a workout in, it's not going to get the same benefits. But it does, mentally, because you're still showing up for yourself, and you're still keeping that promise and that plan, and that gives you a lot of mental motivation, because you're like, hey, I followed the plan. The plan was, if I can't do this, I do this, and that's success. Is really reframing your mindset about what consistency looks like for you. And if you can do something, so maybe on you have that Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Maybe on Monday you do your 60-minute workout. Maybe you're so on Wednesday. You got to do something more chill. So you end up doing a 20-minute yoga video at home. And Friday something happens. You go out with your friends. You completely forget about your workout. But when you get home, you do a 10-minute stretch. And then you feel really good because you look back at your week and you got 3 things done on the days you said you were going to get them done. They may not have been perfect, but you showed up. And again, that 1% better is going to pay off way more than if you do the 60-minute workout on Monday. Wednesday wasn't that ideal. You're really sore, so you skip again. And then Friday rolls around and you didn't really have them and you already don't really feel like it. And your friends have something more interesting going on. So you're going to sleep in and you're going to go out at night instead of doing anything at all, even the stretch. And then you come back Monday, and instead of having 3 movements for your body to make your body feel better in the week, you walk away with 1. So it's a little bit is better than none at all. It's kind of slow and steady wins the race. If you like the tortoise and the hare, that might be aging me as I say that. I don't even know if kids learn that anymore, but slow and steady wins the race. So as long as you're showing up more consistently, you can make it perfect later. As long as you have that time set aside for yourself or the habit or the hobby or whatever it is, then you can show up in a different capacity on a day where you have a little bit more bandwidth. So even if I have 10% capacity today and I give that, if I give 5% or if I give all of that 10%, I'm either giving 50% with 5% or I'm giving 100% with the 10% if I give 10% effort and I have 10% in my tank. So you have to see it from that perspective. You're not always going to be on go all the time. I happen to be because I love fitness and that's just the reality of it. I enjoy what I do. It's my job. And I like showing up. It's fun for me. I love moving my body. I think it's really interesting to watch and it's really interesting to execute. But if you don't have that flavor, make it your own. You don't have to do exactly what your fitness influencer fave one is doing. It's probably not going to work for you, especially because a lot of these people, fitness is their life. So you have to look at it from a lens of what is completely realistic for me or what can I show up for right now. That doesn't mean you can't add time later. You can't add volume later. You can't go from 0 to 100 balls to the wall right away because it's not going to work. You're not going to sustain it. It's not going to work long term. If you really want to challenge yourself to get there, maybe hire someone for some accountability just so you can have that extra push. And if I put money into something, baby, I'm going to focus on it. I'm going to do that shit. So, 10 minutes or less, how to fix your shit. I don't really know what else to say. I don't even know if all of that came together cohesively in my brain. It does. Decipher it if you may. That's all I got.